There we go. All right. Good stuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's 9:01 on Wednesday for our Atomic Team Meeting live. Good to see everybody. We got more coming in here. We got a special guest today. My good friend Jeff Sutherlin. We'll give it another minute or two, Jeff, just to let people come in here. And then
Cameras on, housekeeping.
yeah, that's right. Let's get your moneymaker on. Turn your camera on, unless you're driving. But yeah, you should have your smiling face. I see Gina's smiling face. Got the bun there and the beautiful blue sky behind you. That's awesome. Jackie McKelvin is too cool for school. Look at her. She is like, are you sitting back on your Harley right now, Jackie? It kind of looks like you're just like got the hog idol in there and you're like, what you got? What you got? I love it. Anyway, and Nikita Hatch with her customary, Princess Leia. You ever seen that in Spaceballs? That's pretty funny. Anyway,
Yeah,
welcome.
I'm looking forward to hearing about Jeff. He's a rock star.
Yes, he is. He is. Absolutely. In fact, he just led a rock star training last week, I believe was Friday, Jeff, or Thursday in Arizona. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's hot. We got him. He's coming off that meeting and we catch him on the upstreak here. He's hot.
Let's go.
Anyway, yeah, we got some new faces. I love it. We got that's funny. It sounds like you might have switched to a different language. Please update. So that's weird. That's interesting. This meeting is being sent to a third party. Okay. All right. I think I got extra stuff I don't need. But anyway, hey, Kyle Wells, good to see you. And Courtney Twist and Marianne. All right. Well, let's do this, you guys. We got 27 people and going. I'm ready to rock and roll. I don't want to steal your guys' time of getting some of the content. I have brought on a good friend of mine, one of my best buddies in EXP. We got to know each other because of EXP. So when people say, oh, there's, I don't know about the culture or whatever at EXP, it's all hogwash. If you're plugged in, our culture is absolutely incredible. So I commend you guys for hopping on this morning and getting plugged in and having your cameras on and so on. But Jeff Sutherlin has been in the business for decades and has been in selling in Arizona, has sold thousands, over 1,000 plus homes and growing. He's still in production now. In addition to that, it's like, where does he find the time with his production level, being icon and so on? He's got an organization that's approaching 200 agents spread out over multiple states and so on. But he has a heart for people, and you'll see that. He loves when people win, and he loves training and coaching realtors. He was a coach at KW. He was a recruiter at KW, built that office to over 300 plus, then went on and did his own brokerage to over 250 agents, sold that brokerage, now at EXP, and doggone it if he isn't doing it again. So I'm going to step aside, Jeff. We're really, blessed and privileged to have you take time. You have your own large organization, but I asked you to come and pour into ours here. And we're just so grateful to you, brother.
Well, thank you. Thank you. You know, what a blessing it is to be here. I'm sitting in a room with people like Don Yoakum. I mean, this is crazy
right.
cool, man. And Tom and yourself, Courtney. I mean, you guys are rock stars. So thank you. This is a blessing. So I'm going to try to hopefully give you guys some nuggets today that will help you lead generate. If you master lead generation, you'll never have to worry about creating income for your family. This is something that's worth mastering, but few people want to put in the work to do it. When the intention is clear, the mechanism will appear in life. It's not about the how-tos. It's about how bad do you want it? Because if how-tos were enough, we'd all be skinny, rich, and happy, right? Because there's a lot of books out there that tell you how to do things, right? So we get all wrapped up in how to do everything. And then we don't really do much because it's really about your intention. It's how bad do you want it? So I want to share a presentation today about my, I guess you would say, systems, right? And how I kind of approach my day and some of the things that I do. Can you all see this okay?
Yeah. And one thing I would say to everybody listening, it's one thing to just listen in intently, which you should. But if you do other forms of engagement on top of listening, your retention will be much higher. So if you don't have a notepad or paper, you definitely should. You should engage in the chat. that is underutilized. So if you hear a key point that Jeff shares, you should type it out, because when you're listening and typing it out or writing it out, you're going to have more retention later. So, and then you'll have something you hear that'll be an aha moment that others, it'll go over their head unless it's they read it and they go, oh, I missed that. Wow, thank you so much. So rock and roll, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff, speaking to that, I love this quote that you just made, but I think I goofed it up. You said, when the intention is clear, the mechanism
Will appear.
will appear.
Don, I could give a 5-hour training on that. You know, I learned that years ago through a company called Clemmer and Associates, very similar to PSI. It's about transformational learning and growth. And that right there is one of the biggest reasons why I'm successful, that saying, because we get so wrapped up in the how-tos and that paralyzes us. And really it's about intention. And if your intention's strong enough, the how-tos will show up.
Mm.
So yeah, there's a lot more to that. I think one of the things, and how much time do I have, Matt?
We can go to about 9:40, 9:45, somewhere in there if you need it.
All right, that's perfect. And let me know it's coming in the chat, because I can't multitask very well. So just let me know. The one of the things I'll say is you need to have a running mate, and you have to have somebody that you're modeling off of. So one of the people I model off of is Matthew Stewart. And yeah, and you know what? Based on results, you always have to look at people that have higher results than you, and that's ultimately the ultimate scorecard, right? Matt has results that are higher than mine, so why would I not want to listen to him and copy the things that he's doing? Well, we sometimes don't do that because of our ego. And let me tell you, my ego has probably kept me from making tens of thousands of dollars over the last few years. So that's something that I've had to really work on myself, is to humble myself and actually submit to the leadership of other people that have gone before me, that are doing better than me. And that's what's really helped me to catapult lately. So I wanted to share that. So I'm not going to share a lot about my journey, because we want to get to the meat of this today. I'll just say that I've been in the business 23 years. I love what I do. I still love what I do because it's about the people. To me, it's always about the people. People come to companies and they leave companies, not because of the company, but because of the people, right? And so if I can outlove my competition, you might want to write that down, outlove my competition, I'll win. And I don't have to be the most, amazing salesperson in the world, but if I care about my people, and I care so much to share the good news of this company with them, and I care so much to believe in my heart that I'm a better agent than the next person, because if you don't believe it yourself, how are they going to believe it? It's all about belief. There's probably better agents than me out there, but when I'm speaking to a client or a prospect, I believe I'm the best, right? And that comes out in my approach with people. So over the last 23 years, I've owned multiple companies. I've sold a lot of houses. I've developed a lot of people, and I'm also a bivocational pastor. So I believe that my ministry is I'm a marketplace minister. That's how I see it. If I can help people in their journey by maybe making this a less stress-free situation when they do a deal, that's what I do. And I share my heart with people. And when people ask me, why should I pick you as a real estate agent? I understand my value proposition. It comes from my heart. It's not some rote script that I've memorized. It is coming straight from my heart, that I want to minimize the stress in the transaction. There's nobody that knows the purchase contract better than me. I understand it quite well. I'm highly networked in the community. I will get your house sold. And I strive to create a 10 experience for my clients. And if there's ever a point where you're not getting a 10 experience, then please, we need to talk. So that's a little bit about my journey. Now, when you start lead generating, first of all, and talking to people, you got to know a little bit about the market, guys, right? You got to know some numbers. The language of business is numbers. And you also have to kind of know what cycle we're in. Well, I'm happy to report, guys, we're on the upswing. Okay. We're in the upswing. And so now is the time to really start developing your skills and understanding what's happening in the market. Everyone here has the ability to get market reports from some data source in their local area, whether it be their MLS or through the title company or through the lender or through your own, whatever source you have. You need to grab that data and start to understand it and be able to package it and interpret it to the consumer public, because the consumer public is being fed BS half the time, right? You have to you have to rewire them, right? Kind of like you have to rewire your own brain every day by doing the morning rhythms that you do. So you need to have some things that you can speak to in terms of what's really going on. We're moving into a skill-based market. Now, I'm not going to go over all these data reports. I just wanted to share with you that these are some things that you should know. You should know what your median sales price is in your local market. You should know if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market, or is it a balanced market? You should know that if it's 0 to 3 months of inventory, that's a seller's market. If it's 3 to 6, it's a balanced market. If it's 6 to 9, it's a buyer's market. You should know there's different localities that have different markets, right? So where is the market you're at and what's it doing? You might want to know how many seller concessions are happening in your area of expertise. Right now in Phoenix, almost half of the closings have seller contributions. Interesting, huh? Data that you know this stuff, and people are like, wow, Jackie knows what's going on. How much is the days? How many days on market are there in your MLS? What's the supply trending at? What's the demand trending at? I've got some sexy graphs that I show people because I know that over 50% of people actually like data. They enjoy looking at data. It's a common thing. And if you look at the DISC assessment, for example, DISC, 40% of the people out there are S's. Well, if 40% of the people are out there are S's, then they like data. So when I talk to people, I often weave that into my conversations.
Well, and I think also, Jeff, just to add to that, is it builds trust, respect, and confidence in you as the professional. Most people will pay for a professional to help them through the process, right? And this is lead generation, ideally for listings more often than not, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the absence of value, cost becomes the biggest issue, right? So if I'm in a listing appointment or a buyer's consultation, I'm getting my fee. I'm getting my fee because I know my stuff. And so I'm providing value. I don't go in there letting someone else dictate my fee. I do a whole presentation on buyer consultations. I have no problems getting my fee from in my buyer broker agreements. So all these are just graphs I show, and I can talk to these for those people that like data. Not all people do, but I can certainly speak to it, right? Where's your indexes and all these different things? Okay. By the way, look at the Arizona Regional MLS membership counts that are going down over here. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the same around the country. We have a negative growth rate of agents in Phoenix. Well, okay by me. So let's get to how I program my mind every day. I know some of you guys have read these books. These are just some of the books that I've read in the last few months. Some of them I've read again and again and again, right? So when I approach the day, I have been doing the Miracle Morning for years and years now. And to me, that is the number one weapon I have, is that every day I program my mind to winning. And you have to reprogram your mind, because if you just let everything in the environment hit you all day long, there's a lot of negativity out there. So that means you have to rewire it. You have to rewire your brain, and that you do that by these activities that I do on a daily basis. Again, if you're not familiar with the Savers model, which is a miracle morning routine, that's 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of affirmations. People think I'm crazy. I'll go outside. I'll start talking to myself in the open air. I'll start saying, hey, today's a wonderful day. I'm going to hug at least 3 people. I'm going to close deals. I'm going to eliminate sugar from my diet. I'm going to drink a lot of water. Today is a great day to be alive. Blessed be the Lord today. He's given me a great bountiful of opportunities. I'm a closer. I'll keep talking and talking about, what I'm going to do for the day. I can visualize it. Right? I used to be an athlete. I can visualize that basketball, Matthew Stewart, going through the net, the 3-point shot, hitting the cords, and there's no better sound. right? So I can visualize that day, what it looks like, who I want to meet with, who I don't want to meet with. If I win the day, what does that mean? Yeah, what are the key things I got to get done? And I'm writing these things down, right? When I get done, I'm exercising, I'm reading 20 minutes, and I'm scribing. So it's 5 minutes of silence, 5 minutes of affirmations, 5 minutes of visualization, 60 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of reading, and 5 minutes of scribing and planning. Drink a lot of water, and I have a plan, and I write down the plan before the day gets started. And I start earlier than most agents. A lot of agents start their day at 10 o'clock in the morning. Okay, if it works for them. Doesn't work for me, though. I'm an early guy. It all starts and ends with belief and discipline. The bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the reward. Anyone that's achieved a great deal of success, I bet if I ask Tom Daves or Don or any of these top hitters on the call, if they believe this is true, they're huge leaders in the company. Was it a big sacrifice? The bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the reward. Would you agree with that, Tom or Don?
100%. Absolutely.
We sound
No, I
like
saw water there. Is that a cold plunge water or is that drink water?
So are you a cold plunge guy, Tom?
Oh yeah,
I love it.
100%.
I love it. Okay, cool.
Don't
So-
negotiate. Don't just don't think about it. Don't negotiate. Just do it. Right. Don Yoakum is too.
Yes.
45 degrees.
You guys are animals.
This morning.
Wow.
Animals.
So there's a perfect thing right there, right? They're winners. They're operating at a high level. And why are we not modeling what they do? Now, if you don't want to do the cold plunge, okay, maybe you do the sauna. I've heard that's a good thing. I'm in the sauna several times a week for like 30 minutes. I sweat my butt off, but the cold plunge thing is a little bit difficult for me, but I'm working on it.
Only the first 5 seconds is difficult.
So you got to get control of your calendar, guys. And I'll show you mine and how I structure it real quick. But this is the way I see this year. This is a pivotal year. This year is so important that you get your basics down and you have command of your calendar and your control of it and not letting other people control your calendar. 1 hour a day survival, 2 hours a day growth, 3 hours a day domination. And I'm talking about income producing activities, IPA. Income producing activities. So what that looks like is you got to have a lot of green on your calendar, a lot of green on your calendar. And I'll show you my calendar in a minute. First of all, one of the things I do every single day is I write 3 personal notes. I've been doing it for 20 years. If you did nothing else but just do this, you'd win. I hope you trust me on this. If you just did this alone, you'd win. And if you write this in a way where you're complimenting the person that you're writing it to, there's a right way and a wrong way to do a note. It's not about you. It's about complimenting something that you love about them. Dear Matthew, I just want to tell you what a role model you are in my life. I really respect you. I love the way you love your bride. I love the way you pour into everyone else. You are an amazing leader that I look up to. Thank you for being such a blessing in my life. Sincerely, Jeff. That is something that I mean, right? It has nothing to do with real estate, nothing. They already know you're a realtor, but they want to know, does Jeff really know who I am? So when's the last time you wrote an authentic card like that? And you will have people that call you back and literally in tears. Like I have not received any card like that for a long time, Jeff. I mean, literally in tears. That is a great thing. Have you guys experienced that?
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff, so here's the power of it. So here's one right here that's on display in the back. And this is from another realtor. Like, I'm a realtor. Why do I need to keep a thank you note from another realtor? But it's powerful when someone took the time to write a note. I'm going to put in there, it's Courtney and Michelle. I'm calling them out again. I got a handwritten note for Courtney and Michelle. I keep it. That's what happens. Like, it's like, oh my gosh, it's so rare today.
So rare. Check it out. I just got mine from them last night. It's so good. I love you guys, Courtney, Michelle. It's awesome. So that's my action item. My challenge for you guys is write 3 a day. 3 a day. Okay. And watch what happens in your business in 90 days. Okay. So here's my calendar. It's tight. I know what I'm doing every day. I'm in control of who I'm meeting with. I'm also in control of who I'm not meeting with. I do my church work typically on Thursdays. This is one week where I've kind of taken some things and encroached upon that day. As a part-time pastor, I do some work in my church with the elderly, and I also supervise some of the pastors coming up, the younger guys. And so I've got some flexibility. So I try to put stuff in red, and that's my church work. And I'm still managing to build an organization by literally not working Thursdays in my work week. And so I'm proud of that. But I couldn't do that unless I had a really good calendar, right? So I want you to know that if you don't put these things in your calendar, they're not going to happen.
So these colors, Jeff, just interrupt real quick. So the green, I do colors as well. So green was always money-making activities, right?
Yes.
So I'm curious, it looks like you do the same thing. Your open house on Saturday, 11 to 4, probably should be green, right?
Yeah, you caught me.
Because
Yeah.
that is a income producing activity, right?
Yeah, that's actually someone else's open house.
Oh, got it. You're
It's like
shadowing.
I'm training some mentees
Yeah.
on how to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, technically you're right. That should be green. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
So,
coloring really helps. You kind of look at it and go, gosh, there's not enough green on my calendar. I'm not really doing a lot of income producing activities, I'm doing a lot of management mode.
yeah.
So yeah.
This is the acid test, right? So if I look at somebody's calendar, I can tell you pretty much how productive you are. I can pick it apart. If you really want to get productive, take your calendar and give it to somebody else and say, what do you see? Because the stuff that you value the most will show up on that. And I can look at the week and say, okay, I've gotten 12 to 15 hours of lead gen time per week. That's pretty strong, right? You got to be able to measure it. Here's some other things. You need to be good online, right? We're at a point now where you just can't compete, I don't think, like you'd like to, unless you are really good with some basic websites. We all know these. By the way, we all know homes.com has taken off. There's about 8 key websites that you need to have a consistent brand. You need to have calls to action. What's your avatar? When people go to your websites or your social media pages, how are they going to view you? So look at your stuff from a completely, like, pretend like you don't even know you, and think and say to yourself, what would people think of me, and what kind of energy am I putting out to the world when they see my social media pages? So all of these, you need to have a consistent brand. It needs to be compelling. A lot of people have stuff out there that's just not that good, and you just kind of don't pay attention to it. And over time, you're losing opportunities because you haven't done a digital audit on yourself. Okay, so if you've ever read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, it was a great book by Gary Keller. I've memorized that book. I was a team leader for 4 or 5 years, and I taught from that book because when I started, I wasn't a huge real estate producer. I was just a trainer, so I had to rely on modeling from that book. And I've always looked at this particular formula as the formula on how I coach agents. The number of people in your database divided by 12 multiplied by 2 equals the number of transactions you should have in a year. So let's say you have 100 people in your database, and you say, Jeff, I have 100 people, and I know that these 100 people all know me. And when they think of real estate, they think of me. Great. So if you did that equation itself, you would take 100 divided by 12, which is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so let's pick on somebody. Don, I know you're a numbers guy. Let's say 16 transactions a year, and in your area, what's the median price point? Do you know?
Yeah, well, if we use in my area, it's a little bit higher, but let's say we use the nation, it's 400,000 and $10,000 commission, then 100 people in your database, and with your equation would be 160 grand a year.
Exactly. You're saying it's 410 nationally, 410,000?
Well, it's just north of 400,000, but I kind of rounded it down to 400, applied a 2.5% commission, 10,000 GCI.
Yeah. So I want you guys to understand this formula. He's looking at a $400,000 commission average across the country times the number of transactions times your average commission rate, right? What you believe you're going to average for a commission. That is the gross commission income that you're going to have on a yearly basis. That's pretty compelling, right? So there's really only two issues in real estate, the way I see it. Let's just simplify it. Number one, your database is not big enough, and or the people in your database are not being nurtured enough. There's two dials. You're bringing in people you don't know, and you're taking care of the people you do know. It's really that simple. And this formula becomes a reality when you're doing 33 touches a year. And that's what was taught in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, and I still do it to this day. It's never really been, I have tested it with hundreds and hundreds of interviews and conversations with agents around the country. And this formula is very, very close to being right on the money. It's crazy. Does that make sense? Any questions on that?
Hey, Jeff, I teach this same thing, and I just want to emphasize what Jeff is saying is right as long as those people, as long as you are showing up as a real estate resource to them and they believe that you are their realtor of choice, right? You could have 3,000 people in your database, but if you're not the realtor of choice, don't kid yourself, those numbers aren't going to work.
Absolutely. Like if somebody came to me and said, Jeff, I have 3,000 people in my database. Well, how many transactions have you done this year? 6. Okay. You know what? I don't even want you to spend any time going off and getting more people. Let's just focus on the people that are in your database right now and becoming, closer to them. I mean, what an opportunity. Everybody has a different, entry point into their business, but he's right. You have to be the realtor of choice. And then that's where we focus on all these different things. So, I always say start with the people you do know. And if you're really starting with the people you do know, I train that we should call these people once a month. And I think it's good to about 30% of the time start it off with, hey, Don, this is a business call. Do you have a few minutes? Sure. Then you're going to share something of value to them and get their feedback on that. And then you talk about, more about what's going on in their lives. That's where you jump into the Ford method, family, occupation, recreation, and dream. Because how awkward would it be if you basically started with Ford and then they said, there's something really tragic going on in my life, and then you hit them up with business? That would be very awkward and disingenuous. So I think there's times where you need to be able to call them right off the bat and say, hey, this is a business call. Do you have a few minutes? You share your value, and then you can jump into the personal things. And the rest of the time, I'm usually just going down that Ford method: family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. I think that if you have 150 to 200 people in your database, your singular job with that database is to know those families. You have to know those families, and you have to know what's going on in their lives, their children. You want to be there when they need you as a friend. You want to be able to give them things in your Rolodex, provide resources. It's outloving your competition. So getting to know those families at a deep level. Making compelling offers. What is your offer? What is your irresistible offer? Why would somebody go with you versus somebody else? I know a lot of people that do buyer consults and listing presentations, and they do really good at explaining the contract and the process, but what are you doing for them that's better than everyone else? So I've got a list of like 95 offers that I can bring in that just blow away the competition. And they're proprietary. It's my secret sauce. It's all compliant. But you know what? At the end of the day, people are like, this person is amazing. And they're going to deliver all these things in addition to what they're going to do just as a real estate agent. So start thinking about that. What is your offer all about?
Jeff, could you give, since you have so many, could you give an example of one or two
Yeah.
so they kind of prime the pump for them as they're thinking?
Yeah, simple things like, hey, I'm going to provide, I have a relationship with moving companies. I can give you coupons or discounts to moving companies that can help you with your move. I can provide pizza and soda for the move itself. I will do a housewarming party for you. I will come in and provide the food and the drink. And all you got to do is give me your friends and family. I'll do the invitations. I'll do the housewarming party for you. All you got to do is sit up there and just have a great time. I'll take care of everything. I mean, those are just a few, I
Yeah.
get to, you know what I mean? I could buy, if I don't get a home warranty from the seller, if they don't provide the home warranty, I could also provide a offer of saying that I'll personally, I'll purchase the home warranty as long as it's on the closing statement. There's all kinds of things that you can do to separate yourself from the competition.
Sure.
Okay, so this is my daily grind. And this is how I approach it. And right now I've gotten to the point where I'm shifting to the point where I don't have to do transactions anymore because of my agent attraction work over the years, which is exciting, but I still have these metrics I got to hit every day. So 15 calls a day, 3 notes a day. I'll do 1 market report per month, and I use different sources for that. And I will use our CRM. Most of us here are probably with eXp Realty. I'll use our CRM, KV Core, to get this information out. I can do videos, and I can upload them to YouTube, and then I can embed them into a mass email into KV Core. So it's going out to my sphere once a month. And I don't have to add on the video upgrade either. You can just, you can embed, you can put YouTube videos in mass emails, and it works perfectly. I use a system called HomeBot. Many of you guys are probably familiar with that. I like to do in my farm areas. By the way, I have several farm areas, and I touch them 3 times a month. One is a search alert. So everyone in my farm area gets a search alert, which you can get through KV Core, because everybody wants to know what's active in their backyard, the listings in their backyard. Everyone gets a market report in that neighborhood, and then everyone gets a customized video from me talking about what's going on in the local area. So they get to see my face once a month. These are my farm areas. I've got like 3,000 homes in the farm, and that's how I get listing appointments. So I'm constantly doing it through KV Core. I think one of the best things you can do at eXp Realty is become a KV Core expert. Or if you're using a different system, become an expert in that system. It doesn't matter what you're using, just become an expert with your database. You need to understand who's in your database, because every database has clouds of people. Some people are going to be more influential than others. You need to understand who's who in your database. I recognize important events in the lives of my sphere. This is a Randy Bird thing. I took this from him. I do the 5-5-5-1. So that's 5 comments a day, 5 likes a day, 5 direct messages a day to people that are in my Facebook, all very complimentary with the idea of getting conversation going. And then 1 live Facebook video per week. And then I strive to ask 15 people for business a week. The good news is I can give all those leads away to people in my organization, right? And I can keep on working on agent attraction and things like that that really excite me. But I have to think there's always opportunities out there that people need real estate agents. So that's something I'm always trying to do. And then ultimately, my big metric is I know, and this goes for sales or it goes for agent attraction. If I can book 2 appointments a day, 10 appointments a week, or 40 appointments a month, I am in the very upper echelon of lead generators in the industry. So that's my goal. Every day is 2 appointments a day. It really comes down to that. Any thoughts, questions, feedback? Hope this is okay, Matt.
No, this is great, man. A lot of really, really good stuff.
I just have a quick question. This is great, Jeff. So at the beginning, you shared a lot of stats and information, and I've heard the saying, facts tell, stories sell. So how do you tie the market updates to maybe a story? Do you
Yeah.
have an example of that?
I think I was watching something from Shark Tank the other day, and we all know Mr. Wonderful if you've ever watched the Shark Tank. And he went on there. I saw an ad from him a few days ago, and he said that 5 years ago, if somebody asked him, if I wanted to go to school and make a lot of money, what should I do? And 5 years ago, he said, be an engineer, be an engineer, be an engineer. And he said, now it's totally changed. He said he is looking for people that have fine arts degrees, photographers, people that know how to package a story to go direct to the consumer. Storytelling. So to your point, Tom, you take that data and then you talk about problems or perceptions that people have, right? And you can show them in with real data, what's going on and opportunities in the market. Like, for example, if you have low supply and low demand, right now is a great time to be out there shopping because you have less competition. And a lot of people out there think, I can't get into a house. Right now is the best time in Phoenix to get a house. And then I get them to understand the whole, marry your house, date your rate concept by showing them data and also by showing them empirical evidence of all the history of mortgage rates. This younger generation in their 20s and 30s, they're like, oh, it's such a high rate. I'm like, well, let me share something with you. And I share that graph of the historical mortgage rates over the last 30 years. And I'm like, it's actually low. And they're like, oh. So a lot of people just have these wrong perceptions and you have to correct them and then put it in some sort of like narrative. And then kind of, you can show them this is probably what's going to happen in the future based on what the data is showing. I don't know if that helps, Tom. That's what I do.
The other thing,
That's great.
let's stay in production. If you do 2 appointments a day, what would you quantify as an appointment or qualify as an appointment in production? Is it a listing appointment? Is it something else? Meet with your
Yeah.
top referrer out of your database for coffee? What are you looking at?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. So to me, I see that as an intentional conversation around touching a seller, a buyer, an investor. It could be a Zoom call. It could be a more thorough phone call. It could be a face-to-face. To me, that is like intentional time where you're talking about how you can move the ball forward with them, get them to a purchase, get them to a sale. Or if it's even just nurturing the relationship, it's an appointment with an objective. To me, there's about 3 objectives to every meeting. Number 1 is build rapport. Number 2 is to get a referral. Or number 3, it's to get an appointment.
Hmm.
To me, those are my 3 objectives.
Love
So,
it.
yeah.
Well, it's about 9:38. Just want to give you a little time check there. So we're good. And I don't know how much more you got, but this is great, man. You're giving a lot of value today. So people have been taking notes.
I hope so. I have a lot more slides, but I'll just say, if you're sometimes hesitant to lead generate, you have to completely go into your heart and think about, why are you doing this? What's your big why? And remember, it's not about sales. It's about loving people and supporting them and becoming a master in your trade. So you can help them because people want you to call them right now. They need you. It's a very lonely world we live in. Right. So at the minimum, think of yourself as somebody who can pour some life into other people and help them through some tough decisions they have to make with real estate and whatnot. So you have to kind of just reframe the whole idea of lead generation to what are you really doing? And to me, it's about loving people and it's about caring for them and then throwing in your expertise about real estate. So and then I have a whole other things about all the different things that you could be doing, all the different ways you could be bringing in business. It's infinite. It's absolutely infinite. And then there's CMAs. You could do a CMA a day. And if you do 16 CMAs, you're going to get 1 listing presentation.
So that real quick. So that would be, how would you open that up? If you did a CMA a day, you're calling your database and what do you say?
Yeah, so hey Johnny, Jeff here. Hey, listen, I don't want to throw this away. I actually just did an analysis on your home. So instead of me throwing it away, can I stop by your house and give it to you, or maybe even just send it over to you? I want you to know what's going on in the market and what your house is worth. Oh my gosh, Jeff, that's great. Thank you so much. Right? And try to get into some more conversation around that. Don, did you have something? I saw you lean in.
Yeah, you just gave me a fantastic idea. I think it's a good one. So, what if you took your farm area and you took the transferred anniversary date of every property and you did a CMA on their property on their anniversary date,
Mm.
Drop mic.
Now you have
right?
an easy entry phone conversation, right? It's an
Bam.
anniversary. Yeah.
Jeff, I noticed today is your third anniversary of owning your home in our neighborhood here. And I just wanted to reach out and let you know I've done an analysis of your property and its value. Uh, would you like a copy of it? I mean, bam, right?
Well, that could be pitched as a value add as one of your list of 98, or it could be 99 now, that for all of your clients, all of your trusted closest clients, your 100, 200, 300 in your database, you find out when they bought their home, if they own a home. And like Don said, reach out and say, hey, as a value add that I do as a free service for all of my clientele, boom, there you go. There's kind of mapping out you could literally map out your phone calls for the year, just in that aspect, at least some of them.
So Matthew, I want to make sure I'm conscious of time. Thank you. I feel very honored that you brought me on. And, if anybody ever needs any help, hit me up. I coach agents around the country. I love it. I love this company. I love where it's going. I love I love the people here. It's a love affair I have for eXp Real.
Jeff is a lover. All right. So you can
Awesome.
find him on Workplace Chat. That's a good way to hit him up. Utilize our systems and tools at eXp. If you're not using Workplace, you're missing out. Quite frankly, it is a powerful tool, both the groups, the workplace like Facebook, right? But it's just for eXp. There's so much nuggets dropped on there. And then Workplace Chat. Did you know that all 2,000 employees are trained to be very responsive to Workplace Chat? That's a little nugget for you. So if you need to get a hold of somebody in some department or whatever, go search him up on Workplace Chat and utilize it. So you'll find Jeff there. He's responsive as well. There's his phone number and so on. But Jeff, thank you so much for carving out your time and pouring into, our people here. It is recorded so that you'll find this on our Facebook group page, which is Atomic Habits
Atomic
powered
Habits.
by EXP, right?
And Matt, I have something.
Yeah, Tom.
Okay, great. Well, this is amazing, Jeff. And one of the things that you reminded me is I changed my vocabulary around lead generation. I changed it from lead generation to having conversations. And it really helped me. Hey, if I have 20 conversations a day, then it really helped me get more excited about it instead of, lead generate. And that kind of goes back to the Tony Robbins quote, the words that you consistently use will describe and help you with you can change how you think, and change how you feel, you change how you live. So again, have conversations, man. If you can all have a goal of 20 conversations a day, oh my gosh, doesn't
Wow.
matter what the market's doing, right? So, and I wanted to announce next week, this just came in during our call.
Hot off the presses. Go for it.
Frank Klevitz agreed to next Wednesday, Atomic Habits. He's the CEO of Viral Marketing. And this goes right along with what Jeff was sharing. He's going to help and share how to reconnect with your neglected database with video, social media, email, and book warm appointments. So thank you so much, Matt or Jeff. Do you have any final parting words?
I'll leave it to Jeff. Got anything final, Jeff?
I'll leave you with this. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious
Mm.
unto you. And may the Lord lift up his favor upon you and give you
Mm.
his peace. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I
Awesome.
love it.
Good
That's the
stuff.
mic drop right there. Hey, make it a great day. As Tom, what's your famous? You've done the, what is it?
Now, okay, now you
Come on.
got your inspiration. Time to put in the perspiration.
Bringing it home.
Let's
Not a
go.
guy. Here we go. All right, you guys, take care. God bless.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
y'all. See ya. Good job.